so excited to be back and I can't wait to be out on court and I hope to see.
The tennis world did not see it coming. When Alex Eala walked off the grass courts of Birmingham as champion, the celebrations were already extraordinary. But then something happened that nobody had written into the script. Something that took a remarkable sporting story and transformed it into a moment that will be remembered far beyond the boundaries of tennis. King Charles III personally congratulated her. And from that point forward, nothing was quite the same. Birmingham, England, June 7th, 2026. The crowd rose to its feet as Eala sealed the final point of an unforgettable championship match. More than 2 hours of intense, grinding, emotionally charged tennis, and then a perfectly placed cross-court winner that ended it all. Her first grass court title. Her first WTA trophy since 2025. And on center court, emotions flooded through her in a wave she could not contain and did not try to. What made the victory so significant was not just the result, it was the context surrounding it. Only a week before the tournament began, serious concerns had been raised about her physical condition. A demanding hard-court season had taken its toll. Long matches, relentless travel, setbacks that would have convinced most players to step back and recover. Many questioned whether she should even compete. Eala refused to listen to the doubt. She trusted her instincts, stepped onto the grass, and delivered the performance of her career. And then a king took notice. King Charles III publicly congratulated Alex Eala on her championship victory, praising the dedication and excellence she had displayed throughout the tournament. The message went viral within hours. Philippine flag emojis flooded comment sections across every platform. Fans called it one of the greatest moments in Philippine tennis history. One phrase appeared again and again, in messages, in posts, in the hearts of millions watching from home. Laban Alex. On center court, she had already shown exactly why she deserved every word of it. Trailing 4-1 in the second set, visibly exhausted after a grueling week, she had refused to surrender. She fought for every point. She clawed her way back into the match, broke her opponent's serve at the crucial moments, and sealed the championship with a winner that sent the crowd into a frenzy. During the trophy ceremony, she thanked her supporters and dedicated the victory to the Philippines. A simple gesture, a profound one. And then the king's message arrived, and the story grew into something no one had imagined. For many Filipinos, it was a moment of pure, overwhelming pride. One of their own had competed on British soil, won on British grass, and earned the recognition of the British monarch. What had begun as a hard-fought tennis tournament had become an international story of determination, resilience, and the kind of success that travels far beyond the sport that created it. Commentators reflected on how quickly Eala's profile had risen. Analysts discussed what her journey represented, not just for tennis, but for every young athlete in the Philippines who had ever been told the dream was too far, the distance too great, the odds too steep. Her Birmingham run had become something larger than a title. It had become a symbol, and the king's acknowledgement only deepened that meaning. But as attention continued to build, and as the story spread further across news outlets, sports programs, and social media platforms worldwide, a new question began to circulate. One that nobody had been expecting. Why had King Charles III extended a private invitation to Buckingham Palace? Private audiences at Buckingham Palace are typically reserved for world leaders, Nobel laureates, and sporting icons at the very highest level of global achievement. So when news broke that Eala had been invited for a personal meeting, speculation spread instantly. Some analysts suggested it was part of a Commonwealth initiative, a symbolic recognition of rising talent from member nations. Others speculated about an honorary distinction, or the early stages of a historic award tied to her impact on the sport. Through all of it, Eala remained silent. Her camp released only a brief, carefully worded statement confirming that she was deeply honored by His Majesty's invitation and looked forward to the meeting. No further details, no clues about what was to come. As June 25th, 2026 approached, speculation reached fever pitch. Then the day arrived. At 2 in the afternoon, Alex stepped out of a black chauffeured vehicle onto the gravel driveway of Buckingham Palace. Her pulse was racing beneath the weight of the moment. She wore a traditional Filipina gown, delicate embroidery, butterfly sleeves, each detail a quiet declaration of where she came from and what she carried with her onto every court she had ever played on. Cameras flashed. Photographers called her name. The sound echoed like distant applause. And inside the palace walls, a historic audience awaited. The private meeting lasted 40 minutes. No press was permitted inside, but later reports described it as warm, personal, and unexpectedly profound. At 3:30 in the afternoon, Buckingham Palace issued an official statement, and it sent shockwaves across the sporting world and beyond. The statement confirmed not only the king's admiration for Eala's inspiring rise, but also revealed that she would be receiving a special recognition that had never before been associated with a player at this stage of her career. King Charles III announced the creation of the Queen Elizabeth II Commonwealth Young Athlete Award, a newly established honor designed to recognize athletes who embody exceptional courage, resilience, and the true spirit of fair play. And it was confirmed that Alex Eala would become its very first recipient. But the announcement did not end there. The award package included an invitation to a future state banquet at Buckingham Palace, a specially designed medal crafted by the Royal Mint, and, most significantly, a £100,000 grant dedicated entirely to supporting grassroots tennis development in the Philippines. Funds directed toward building new courts, expanding coaching programs, and creating real, lasting opportunities for the next generation of Filipino athletes. According to the official statement, His Majesty's commitment to youth development and Commonwealth unity had long been a defining part of his public work. And in Alex Eala, he saw a young athlete who embodied those values, not only through her performance on court, but through her resilience, her integrity, and her willingness to stand by her beliefs when it would have been easier to step away. The tennis world was left stunned. Within minutes, social media erupted. Coco Gauff shared the announcement with a single line, calling it so deserved. Naomi Osaka praised Eala's impact both on and off the court, highlighting her influence beyond tennis itself. But the most powerful response came from the Philippines. In Quezon City, crowds gathered outside her family home, waving flags, chanting her name. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. issued a statement describing Eala as a national treasure whose achievements had brought immense pride to the country. The hashtag linking Alex and the king trended worldwide for hours as the story dominated global headlines. Back in Manila, her mother Raisa watched it all unfold through tears, reflecting on how far her daughter had traveled, from childhood dreams to a velvet-lined metal box in a palace on the other side of the world. And yet, behind all the celebration, not everyone responded publicly. The WTA remained notably silent, offering no immediate statement or acknowledgement. A quiet absence that stood in sharp contrast to the historic scale of what had just been announced. For millions of fans watching around the world, that silence felt louder than any palace statement ever could. The sun had long set over Metro Manila, yet the city still carried the glow of a day that no one would forget. In her childhood bedroom, Alex sat quietly. The Buckingham Palace medal rested in its velvet box on the nightstand. Beside it lay official grant documents confirming a landmark commitment: 6 new tennis courts to be built across Luzon and the Visayas. The full weight of everything she had just experienced pressed gently on her, not as pressure, but as meaning. Heavy, profound, clarifying meaning. She was 21 years old, a grass court champion, a guest of the royal palace, and the symbolic face of a movement far larger than herself. Earlier that evening, before the full wave of media attention had settled, she had arrived at Ninoy Aquino International Airport without any official ceremony. Yet somehow, word had spread. Nearly 2,000 people had gathered outside the terminal, Philippine flags, handwritten signs, voices rising in her name until they grew hoarse. She moved slowly through the crowd, holding her mother's hand, pausing often to embrace children who looked at her with something between awe and recognition, as though she were a dream made real and standing right in front of them. One young girl, no older than 8, handed her a drawing, a tennis court, and above it, one word written carefully in a child's handwriting, Salamat. Alex knelt down, looked her in the eyes, and spoke softly in words that would later be replayed across national television and shared across every platform imaginable. Huwag kang susuko. Hindi mahalaga kung saan ka nagsimula. Mahalaga kung saan ka papunta. Don't stop dreaming. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you're going. The girl burst into tears. And so did Alex. Later that night, alone in her room, she scrolled through her phone, not searching for headlines or interview requests, but reading through the personal messages that had arrived over the past week. Stories from young athletes across the Philippines. A tennis player from Iloilo City who had once been told she was not good enough. A boy from Cebu who had watched every match from his phone with no proper court to practice on. Each of them finding something in this story that felt personal, that felt possible, that felt like permission to keep going. From a court in Birmingham to the halls of Buckingham Palace to a childhood bedroom in Manila, the journey of Alex Eala had already rewritten what people believed was within reach. And the story was only beginning.